Greatest Showman. I'm a sucker for musicals, and this didn't disappoint at all. The music, most of all, was one of my favorite parts of this movie.
It is kind of the reason we wanted to see this movie in the first place. Hugh Jackman, he is the greatest showman. Just when you see him do like awards shows and stuff, and he's a song and dance man, and that's what I love about Hugh Jackman. So
it was so funny though, because like in the set piece that it is, like the time period that this movie is set in, I just want to be like, is that Robert Angier? All he has to do is just be a magician,
musically empowered magician.
And then he'd be fine.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is this film, the way that they take that era, but they, gloss it up and just add a pageantry to it that makes it look so much more epic, obviously. But at the same time, it's very stage-like. It feels like a play, but at the same time, a Broadway show. But it's a movie, and they do a good job at translating it that way.
And then at first, like when we first heard about this movie, I was like, I don't know how I feel about it, considering it's based off of P.T. Barnum, who did Barnum and Bailey's Circus, who kind of exploits those, and the controversy with animals, which
exploitation
I love animals,
of people and
animals, and I was just like, because I mean the circus is the circus, and I don't care for that circus at all, like in real life.
But the thing
is, of everything that's been going on as far as like the animals and stuff, but this movie itself is basically, there was a perfect scene in this movie that kind of described the movie
right
in themselves, and it was with one of the
critics. And the term that he uses is a celebration of humanity, inclusion, and he really does put that at the forefront in this film. Everybody in this film is different in a way, and it's a celebration of them. And granted, the only conflict really in this film is Phineas himself, but that's what's cool, is there's a little bit of persecution from the people living in this world against those in the circus, which was a legit thing and still kind of is a legit thing, but now it's for different reasons. Like you said, it's more controversial when it comes to the circus, but we're basing this review solely off of the movie, and that's what I really enjoyed, was that it was like a celebration of humanity.
Basically, and this is like an alternate, like if people accepted these people for who they are, this is what this movie was about, to celebrate them.
It is kind of an interpretation of society the way it is now.
Yeah.
The cool thing is, too, about this film is that, like, right off the bat, they do a thing where they show you, like, the 20th Century Fox logo, but it's, like, old school, and then they show it again, and it's the updated style of logo. And that kind of is a perfect interpretation of this film itself, because, like other musicals, it's a time piece, it's a time period, but it's updated. It's updated style of music and dance.
Yeah, the music was very updated, and at first you think, well, how does that work? But it works perfectly.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is it definitely translated very well by not using like modern music. It's original modern music. It's not like Across the Universe, where they use songs from the Beatles. Correct. Or Mamma Mia,
Although
where it's ABBA. Which, don't get me wrong, it's fantastic, those movies that do pull it off with unoriginal songs that have been real popular. That's how you get the butts in the seats. But to take original music at the same time and make it more modern, modernized to fit in with what is going on. Everything they say in the lyrics is going on in the film itself. And even at one point where it's like, I'm blinded by the lights no more. And I love it because that is the arc of Phineas Barnum, is this whole more. It's almost like an addiction of the entertainment, the standing ovations. The celebration is no longer good enough, so he wants more and more, and eventually that leads to a downfall. It's a high that comes with a very big low, and that's what I love about this film, is they do that pretty well.
We do have like the same pick about it, considering that it didn't really do anything to the story itself. It's the whole scene.
There's a
moment in this movie that basically we just didn't care for, but other than that,
it was unnecessary for the plot, I think.
It just didn't really fit necessarily. It was just kind of shoehorned in.
Another conflict that they add for no reason.
Yeah, but other than that, I would definitely go see this movie again.
So what would you rate it?
I would rate it about a 4.6 6.5.
Okay, so you have a pretty high.
Yeah.
So I put it a 4 only because when the songs aren't happening, it is kind of a lull a little bit. So for me, I'm in it more for the music, but I loved all the dance numbers and musical scenes. But there were a couple drab moments for me. But it does move very quickly. So would I watch it again? I would definitely listen to the music again. That is for sure. Yes. I will be listening to the soundtrack over and over. But other than that, I would say probably a 4 out of 5 for me. But all in all, I'm a sucker
for good musical.
Yeah, so am I. But that's why, for me, La La Land is like a number 5. I absolutely love La La Land because it was cleverly done. This one, it was highly CG moments that kind of took me out a bit.
Producers, I believe, lyrics.
There's one part where they show people in the background, and I was just staring at the background people, and they weren't really doing anything. Like they were just motioning like they were doing stuff. So that kind of took me out. I'm like, what is he doing? Like I always notice that on TV shows where they're eing and they're just kind of poking at it and never really actually making me believe it.
And it has nothing to do with the movie itself, though.
Yeah.
During the movie when we were watching it, and I was really getting into it, the lights came on.
Yeah, the lights turned on in the house, but that's just because they weren't turned off fully all the way and they flicked on. Luckily,
but it made me laugh.
I used to work here, so I know how to turn them off, so I went and did that. But all in all, with that being said, check out The Greatest Showman. We enjoyed it, had a lot of fun. Obviously, that's what it's for. It's for the musical. There's even like a quote. I know Brian Chandler from this movie's quoted it, and it's a great quote about basically if you can't be entertained by theater, what are you doing? Who's the fraud now?
Why are you criticizing?
Yeah. It's like you go for these things for fun, and we had fun, especially the score, the soundtrack. It was great. So, what did you guys think? Let us know in the comments below if you saw it. If you don't really want to see it, let us know as well. Why? I know there's a lot of films out right now during this week, so. That could be a good enough reason. Either way, thank you guys. You could like, you could subscribe.
And you do the thing on our Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Stardust.
All the social networking generation. Over the are, kicking the party, full of party, keep the party going. At our Patreon gets us where we need to go. Thank you guys so much. We will have some more reviews popping up in the next couple of days, so stay tuned for that. Thank you guys, and now it's time to say goodbye. And this party is over.